And there is no better person to be joining us today than the man who made history himself, D.O. Gibson.
Is a Guinness World Record holder for longest freestyle rap.
Rapped for 8 hours and 45
D.O.
minutes.
Gibson is his stage name.
The spotlight on rapper, motivational speaker, and father, D.O. Gibson.
D.O. stands for defying the odds.
And he drives home that message to the next generation.
Why? 'Cause I'm lit.
I can't apologize for who I am. Light skin, aloe black, they call me the man.
Keep on learning and gaining more information. To me, that just thirst for knowledge is something you want to see in kids. If I can be part of giving them something that they can attach onto and give them hope, then I'm glad I can be part of that.
That is a look at Dwayne D.O. Gibson. He's a writer, motivational speaker, and get this, the Guinness Book record holder for longest freestyle rap.
You bet, and he recently launched a new project called Black Canadian 365.
Black Canadian 365 is an initiative to show that Black history isn't just about 28 days, it's 365. And I wanted to create a resource so that while I'm visiting schools in February and beyond, people could go back to this site and they could find out a little bit more about history. It's great to hear about the quick tag points, but it's really good for kids especially to learn another layer of Black Canadian history. I think that Black history is not just important for racialized students, but it's important for everyone. And having a resource like that when I was a kid would have been invaluable.
Make a meal by my mama crib and get my own island. My comeback is the best, but I ain't never lived here. I ain't on just yet, but best bet that I'm next, yeah. Don't ever sleep, nah, I let my eyes rest. If I woke up, then I'm blessed. I can never see me getting depressed. Why? 'Cause I'm lit.
Speaking in this accent, they didn't understand me. Acting extra, like my ticket said the Grammys. Come on, cuz, know I had to bring the family. Never did learn about a plan B. Rolling with the A-team, B.A. Baracus. Yeah, I hear them say things, but they can't stop us. Celebrate our wins, cause we know about the losses. So sick, and we ain't talking nauseous. My dashes arrived and we going off the leashes. Going all night and the vibe just increases. Even when I'm far from my city, I act like it's home. Back in the zone like Patrick Mahomes.
He does love it. That
D.O.
shout out
throwing
to
it
that
down.
right
He's
there.
the best ad libre in
please,
town.
mic drop that, yes.
And he says he has no plans to slow his flow.
Yeah. Who would have ever thought young Dwayne Gibson stuck to the same vision, was stage driven, was skills building. But when you stay driven till the end, that means you are still driven. Well, that's one thing I heard, and I believe it's true. That's why D.O.'s flow is cold like Beebs brew. Or maybe you could have some Tim's Beebs if you know what's up. Sometimes lightning can strike, or it's an avalanche like the Stanley Cup. And for my Leafs fans, have no fear. You know what we always say? Well, welcome to next year. Wait for next year. And you already know that I'm a rapper. I love basketball. Wait till next year with the Toronto Raptors. Cause you know it's on with the rookie of the year. I'm talking Scotty Barnes. We about to rock it on. See, I stayed driven even when my vision was blurry. But I came up and hit the big shot like my name was Steph Curry. Wait till tonight when I'm on the mic. It's got to take flight. Gaming like Fortnite, you know what it's like. But today I want to shout out to all my people that were affected. So much stress these last 2 years, but you never let it. affect you when your dreams were never neglected. So shout out to you, all the teachers, all the students. You made it through a pandemic with your best effort. So if you're in a place to be, if you guys are feeling good, put up 2 hands in the air for me. I wish I could see. Yes, best believe I'm so glad that you guys could join us here for Still Driven. Now, I don't want to spend too much time talking about who I am. I think most of you guys would know who I am. You've seen me at your school. Shout out to Ontario Creates for helping with this. You guys know.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
D.O. So allow me to reintroduce myself. And as you guys know, D.O. stands for Defy the Odds. I've told you to defy the odds means that even when people say you can't achieve something, you don't give up, but you keep on going. And the way I say that is that you have to stay driven. Coffee flowing over here. Had a couple cups already. When I go to schools, I call my program Stay Driven. And that's the name of my first album, my first CD. If you guys know what a CD is, talk to you guys about that. But today, this is not Stay Driven. This is Still Driven. So I'd love to hear from you guys today. When I ask you guys questions, I'd love if you can put them in the chat. Sometimes you can raise your hand. I'm going to leave some time at the end for some questions. As I mentioned in the chat, this presentation right now is designed for kindergarten to grade 3. So it's going to be more towards some of the younger students. Now, if you're tuning in and you've got a grade 6 class, that's okay. But I'm going to be back here at 10:30 delivering a second message. So it's going to be kind of similar, but kind of different, if you know what I mean. I'd love to hear from where you guys are from. We've got over 10,000 people. I think it's more like 20 or 30. But let me know in the chat what school or what city you guys are tuning in from, because I'd love to hear it. Okay. Still driven. What does still driven mean? Well, I think the best way to tell you guys what still driven means is to shout out some of these schools. We got Maple in the house, Blessed Trinity, Lumen Christi, I see you guys, Dolson, Ann J. MacArthur, Nahanni Way, Ingleboro, Lumen Christi. Yeah, it's great seeing a lot of these schools that I recognize, whether being there in person or sometimes I even have my friends say, hey, my kid goes to the school. And so shout out to everybody tuning in. I realize that there's a lot of schools that won't see this right now because they're in British Columbia. So shout out to the schools that are in British Columbia that will be watching this later on today, because right now it's 6:30 in the morning out there. Still driven. Okay, what it means to me is the first day of school. You guys remember the first day of school, right? You remember back in September when you came to school? Well, I love the first day of school. Now, I hope you guys love the first day of school, because you know, on the first day of school, if I had to say it in one word, I'd say you feel fresh. You know why you feel fresh? Because maybe you went back to school shopping. Maybe your parents bought you some new clothes. Yeah, you got a new backpack, new school supplies, you know, some fresh crayons or pencil crayons. But you feel just ready for the school year. You might have had a great summer, but now you're ready to get back to school. You guys ready to get back to school in September? No, okay, I won't go there. But you feel great. And I remember when I was coming to school, it didn't matter which grade I was in. It felt I had a blank slate, a clean slate. And, you know, when you have the blackboard and there's nothing on it. And what I mean by that is I always said, it didn't matter how old I was. This year is going to be my year. So maybe you are like me. Maybe you wake up early that first week of school. Your parents don't have to wake you up. Maybe you come home after school. As soon as you get home, you do your homework. When you have a test, you study really hard for the test. I mean, you could have a test on Friday and you start studying for it on a Tuesday. If you've seen one of my presentations, you'll get what I mean there. But you're working really hard. And for the full month of September, that's what you do. Up early, doing your homework, studying. But then one day comes along and you don't wake up. Maybe you hit the snooze button. You guys know about the snooze button? Or maybe you didn't even set an alarm and your parents come and say, you're going to be late for school. And when you go to school, your friends say, hey, after school, you want to go play some basketball? Want to play some road hockey? Want to play some video games? And maybe you say, you know what? Sure, I don't have that much homework. But when you come home, you leave your homework to right before you go to bed and you finish it, but you don't do great. And when you have a test, you know, the test isn't until Friday and today's Tuesday, but you don't study till the night before. Maybe you don't study at all. But things are okay until that day. You guys know which day I'm talking about? Report card day. Yeah. Because then you realize, I guess I'm not doing so well in school. So what happens when you're not doing well in school? You go back to doing what you're doing, right? You're waking up early in the morning. You're doing your homework when you come home. You're studying for your test. You start doing well again. Then maybe after holidays, you go back and you're not doing as well. So the reason why I tell you that is because when you stay driven, when you have your dream and you're trying to defy the odds, you're not always going to be going right up. You're not always going to be doing the same thing every day. Sometimes things are going to be great. Sometimes you're going to go through tough times. And for you guys have gone through something I never had to go through. When you started school in September, maybe some of you guys were learning from home, virtual learning. Sometimes we didn't know if school was going to be postponed and you weren't going to go to school. You've worn a mask for the last 2 years, and it's not always easy to do a mask, wear a mask. It's not always fun to wear a mask. You knew it was the right thing to do. So when I say still driven, I'm talking about how you started the year maybe really good. You went through some tough times, but guys, in 2 weeks to today, you're going to be done one of the toughest years of school. It doesn't matter what grade you're in. So I want you guys to give yourself a pat on your back, and I want you to make some noise for your teachers. Shout out to the teachers. Yeah. You're still driven. Now, guys, I want to tell you a quick story of how I realized I was still driven. It happened when I was in university. And when I was in university, at first I loved it. You know, it started out fresh because I moved away. I went to school in Toronto. I went to York University. I didn't have my parents having to wake me up. I was rapping and performing for the first time and in a big city in Toronto. But after a while, I was kind of going through a rough time. And I said, did I make the right choice? Should I go to university? Am I taking the right thing? I wasn't sure. I want to be a rapper. But it all changed one day when I got a call from my dad. And my dad called me and he said, Dwayne, there's a letter that came in the mail. And I said, okay, Dad. And he said, yeah, but it's weird. And I said, what's weird? And he said, the person who sent it to you, it's kind of weird. And I said, who sent me the letter, Dad? And he said, yourself. I said, myself. Guys, how do you get a letter to yourself? Now, I know you guys are used to sending text messages and emails, but you guys know about letters, right? Now, the thing was, it clicked. I did write a letter to myself. It was 5 years before that time. It was a letter to my future self. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of writing a letter to yourself, but our teacher said, guys, we want you to think 5 years from now, what will you be doing? So I read that letter when my dad sent it to me, and I realized I was saying where I'm at now. I said back 5 years ago that I think I want to go to university. I don't know exactly for what, but I want to go. I want to be a rapper, but I don't know if I can be a rapper in Canada. So when I read that letter, I realized I was at university, I was rapping, I was making songs, I made a CD, I was performing. So even though I wasn't there, I was on my way. If you guys saw me during Black History Month, you heard me read this poem about what happens to a dream deferred. And when you defer a dream, it means that you put it off. It means that when you guys have a dream of what you want to do when you grow up, I mean, when I was in grade 2, I wanted to be Superman. You probably saw me wear the cape, but things changed. But even though things changed, I'm still driven. Yeah, we're gonna do it like this. We're not saying hip-hop, say music, hip-hop, music, hip-hop, music. We're not saying hip-hop, we say hip-hop, can't stop, won't stop, can't stop, won't stop, hip-hop. Can't nobody hold me down, can't nobody hold me down, can't nobody. I used to come home and watch much, it was all the same. These are the days of double XL, no size jeans, and then there was some food that had success. I looked up to Fresh Prince and Maestro West West. Don't make a mistake, it's like over 7 years. I was grateful for picking away. The days felt like a full-time job. Get my money in my mind like I'm still young stuff. What I had 27 years, I wrote it, kids, that was like it's new me. My macho man, Baby Savage. Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
We still winning. Staying on a hustle, working overtime. Defying the odds, staying on this grind. We still driven. Yeah, we still driven.
We are still driven. So that's one of my new songs. It's called Still Driven. So when I said that song, I was talking about how I felt when I was in university. When I was in university and I had my dream of being a rapper. So what does being a rapper really mean? Well, it's changed. Because what I said on that song is two things. I said I used to come home and watch Much. Now, Much means Much Music, which is a TV channel that played music videos. This is before the days of things like YouTube. We didn't have YouTube when I was in university. And I also wanted to be a rapper and have my CD in stores. I told you about a CD. Do you guys know? Yeah, stores. Now, if I told you now in 2022 that my dream was to be on Much Music and have my CD in stores, would you say that's a good dream? Well, probably not, right? Because a lot of rappers, well, they don't have CD stores and they don't play music videos. So my dream changed. And you guys will have a dream that changes. See, in 2022, I have a new dream. And in 2 days, I can't wait, guys. I get on a plane, I fly to France. That's why it's always so important to learn French. I'm so glad that I still know some of my French. I still use it. And I'm performing next week at an event in the south of France where this one guy is going to be at. He's a Canadian from Vancouver. He was in a movie called Deadpool. Shout out to my man, Ryan Reynolds. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And when I'm in France, I call it a made it moment. I wonder if you guys know what a made it moment is. Now, you can see it's the name of my song.
You finally did it. Rose to the top. Forget the critics. Now they have to admit it, cause you on top and you winning. The
funny thing is, it really isn't much different from when you was cooking up. Late nights in the kitchen, stick it to your vision. Driven like Lewis Hamilton, bet it all on yourself. And you ain't one for gambling, so take a second. Soak it in for a moment, enjoy it. The times you came so close, only for disappointment, it was worth it. See, you could've been deterred when they kept saying no, but instead, you stayed determined, stayed working. First in, last out, for sure it's easy to say now, but you know what it's like to be nervous and shake it off. Like dirt on your shoulder, that voice inside your head, now saying I told you. They said all the reasons why not, and you were like, so what? So go ahead, do your dance, walk with that. This is your made it moment. It feels great, don't it? Pat yourself on the shoulder for all the times they told you you wouldn't. This is your made it moment. You finally slayed your opponent. So go ahead and soak it in. Celebrate your win and do it all again. Create another made it moment.
A made it moment. So that's me shooting a music video in Las Vegas. And it's called Made It Moment. But the story starts 2 years ago when I wrote a book. Because 2 years ago, I wasn't sure what I was doing because there was the pandemic. I wasn't able to perform. So I decided to write a book. And one of the chapters was called Made It Moment. So then when I was thinking last year, I said, now that my book is done, it's going to come out, I'm going to make a soundtrack. Usually a soundtrack is to a movie, that they put songs in a movie. But I said, I'm going to make a soundtrack to my book. And I made songs based on the chapters. So one of the chapters was Made It Moment, and I made a song for it. Now, where does Las Vegas come from? Well, in the song, I say a couple things, and I want you guys to look. I told you guys I had a dream that was deferred. My dream was to go to the Grammys. My dream was to eventually be in Las Vegas. I wanted my dream to explode. So what that means is I didn't want my dream to dry up like a raisin in the sun or stink like rotten meat. I wanted it to be sweet, like syrup.
It could be walking the red carpet at the Grammys, or it might be legendary times with family when you catch a glimpse.
I said in this song that a made it moment for me would be walking the red carpet at the Grammys. And I wasn't sure if it was going to happen because the Grammys were deferred. If you remember in January, things shut down in Ontario. The Grammys were postponed, but they weren't canceled. And in April, I walked the red carpet. This is me with Travis Barker. And then you could see me on the red carpet talking to Kourtney Kardashian. Shout out to the Kardashians. Was with Travis Scott, who's dating or married to Kylie. But yeah, so this is me at the red carpet at the Grammys. Now, when I wrote the book 2 years ago, I didn't know if I'd be going to the Grammy. When I wrote the song a year ago, I didn't know.
It could be walking the red carpet at the Grammys, or it might be legendary times with family when you catch a glimpse. Only one
doesn't mean just going to the Grammys. What I said there was I could be walking the red carpet at the Grammys, or it could be legendary times with family. One of my legendary times was going to Disney World. I don't know if anybody's ever been, but I love going to Disney World a few years ago with my family. I went with my parents. I went with my kids. We had an awesome time. Your made it moment could be going to Canada's Wonderland. Or when I say with family, maybe you haven't seen someone these last couple years. Maybe you haven't seen your grandmother, your grandfather, your aunt, or your uncle. So a made it moment is when you get a chance to see people as well and enjoy those times. And I want you to think about a made it moment that you might have had when you felt good about yourself. Maybe it was doing well in school. Maybe it was having a good time with your family. Maybe it was hanging out with your friends. But I want you to think about a good made it moment that you had. And then I want you to think about What's something you can do this summer that is going to be fun? Maybe you're going to go on a trip, and maybe you haven't been on a trip in a while. So I hope you guys have something to look forward to in the summer, because these last couple of years have been tough. And I remember when I was growing up, it was a little bit tough as well. I had the dream of a bigger future. And one way I dreamt is by having a vision board. I put all my dreams, I cut them out, I put them on a board. Maybe you guys can do something like that yourself. You can see there's Disneyland, you can see family, friends, reading books, traveling, exercise, all great things to do to create your made it moment. Growing up as a kid, trying hard to fit in and be original. Time goes by, and now we all grown up. Used to look up to the stars, but now they following us. Hey, yo, my mama used to say, everything gonna be okay. Don't worry about them, one day you gonna find your way. Hey, people wanna be like them. I used to come up in my room and turn the volume to 10. Back then, there was only one. Though many others tried, competition was none. I swear there was nothing iller than chilling and watching thriller. Nowadays they try to do it, but nothing really is filler. Didn't matter which one I'm talking. Jordan, Tyson, Jackson. See, you can do there some of the time, but why be everyone else one of a time? Because it's so rough growing up as a kid, trying hard to fit in and be original. Time goes by, and now we all grown up. Used to look up to the stars, but now they find out we're not. So that's my song, Follow Me. And follow me has become a big thing that I hear a lot of people say. Now you hear it about social media. But I call the song Follow Me because of my t-shirt. When I came out with my first t-shirt, my album was called The North Star. So my t-shirt had D.O. Gibson, and it didn't have Defy the Odds. It just said The North Star, because that was the name of my album and the name of my company. And on the back of my shirt, it said, Follow Me. So I decided to make a song called Follow Me. Now, like I said, now we think about social media. And every time I go out to a school, I have 10 or 50 people say, D.O., can you follow me? And I'd love to follow everyone, but I don't really know everyone yet. I hear a lot of young people say that their dream is to go viral, that their dream isn't to be a lawyer or a doctor, but to be a YouTuber. And that's cool. But I've learned it's not about going viral, because I've been in the music business for 20 years and I've seen people go viral or have a big song, but then they became a one-hit wonder. So they were really popular for a minute, but they weren't able to do that again. So I want you guys to not just think about doing one thing great, but to try hard each day to be great. See, one of my heroes is Maestro Fresh West, and he said, don't make records, make history. And one of my heroes that made history, I think everybody would agree, because in school in September, we celebrate him every year, is Terry Fox. And Terry Fox wasn't big on social media. I mean, they didn't have it back then. He had 0 likes, he had 0 posts, he had 0 shares, but he had millions of followers. So don't just ask people to follow you, be a leader that makes people want to follow. One of my favorite times during my shows, guys, is freestyle. And when I ask people to freestyle, sometimes they want me to rap about cheese or dinosaurs. Anybody seen the new Jurassic Park? You know, Jurassic World, I'm sorry. Or Justin Bieber, always a popular topic. But the most popular topic, regardless of if it's a pop singer or anything over the years, has to be this one thing: unicorns. Yeah, unicorns. I never would have thought that I would be rapping so much about unicorns. So I was rapping so much about unicorns, and I said to myself, what can I say about a unicorn? I can't just talk about a unicorn and their horn. So I did some research. Did you guys know that unicorns have been around for 5,000 years? This is kind of like a hieroglyphic of a unicorn. There was an explorer named Marco Polo who went searching and traveling around the world. And he said on his travels, he saw a unicorn. Is that possible? Do unicorns exist? Well, when he saw this unicorn, he said, guys, this unicorn doesn't look like we thought it would look like. It's kind of big. It's kind of ugly. I know you're not supposed to say things are ugly, but he kind of described it like that because it didn't look like what he thought it would look like. You know what he probably saw now that we look back on it? A rhinoceros. You could see why you would think that was a unicorn. Now, hey, I think rhinoceros is beautiful. But it's beautiful because we kind of know what a rhinoceros looks like, right? Nowadays, people don't just talk about unicorns like that unicorn we saw a second ago. They talk about unicorns in basketball. This guy is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Can you guys say Antetokounmpo? He's a two-time MVP and he won the world championship in basketball last year. And they call him a unicorn because he's really tall. He's 7 feet tall. And when you're 7 feet tall, you're supposed to play by the basket. You're the center. But he plays like he's a shorter player. He plays like a guard. He can dribble really well. He can shoot. So they call him a unicorn. Now, I wonder if you guys like basketball, there's a team playing tonight. If Steph Curry is the unicorn, because he's not tall when you consider it to be a basketball player. He dribbles well, but he doesn't play center. So I want to show you guys 5 things that they say make you a unicorn. Unicorns are different. See, if I think of a unicorn, I think of a horse, right? The difference is a unicorn has a horn. I mean, that's what unicorn means, one horn. So you might feel different. You guys ever felt different? Can you imagine if you went to a school that was full of horses and you were a unicorn? People might pick on you because you're different. But I think being different, especially being a unicorn, is pretty cool. So Steph Curry is different because we've never seen a superstar in basketball be kind of short. He's not the regular one. I mean, when he came out of high school, a lot of teams didn't want him. A lot of schools didn't want him. He wasn't a top draft pick. So one thing is they're different. Unicorns are magical. Whenever you read about a unicorn, you could see them flying. Shout out to My Little Pony. But there's magic. And if you watch basketball, I mean, what Steph Curry can do playing basketball, it's magical. He doesn't just take a three-pointer from the three-point line. He will shoot from half court sometimes. I don't know how he does it. Unicorns are strong. Even in the Bible, shout out to the Catholic schools watching this today, talk about it as a unicorn has incredible strength. They talk about unicorns in the Bible. And Steph Curry, you know, he might not look that big, but to play against guys like Giannis or some of these big basketball players, when you drive down by the basket, you got to be pretty strong. Unicorns are impossible to capture. And that kind of means, like for Steph Curry, when he's taking these far away three-pointers, it's not just magical that he's hitting them, but he does them with a hand in his face. I don't know how he does it. And so when you have dreams and you're like a unicorn, nobody can catch you. Now, the last thing is what happens when you have a group of unicorns? Do you guys know what you call a group of unicorns? A group of unicorns is called a blessing. A blessing. Isn't that weird that they call it a blessing to have a group of unicorns? And what that means to you is maybe you have friends that are a little bit different. Maybe some people pick on them because they're different. You stand up for your friends, especially if they're being bullied or picked on. Because when you have a lot of unicorns together, that's a blessing. So I think Steph Curry is a unicorn because he's not just a unicorn. He's got a couple other guys on his team. Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, they're unicorns too. Maybe they'll win the championship again. Now, guys, it's been a blessing this year to talk about Black history, not just in February, not just for Black History Month. I've talked about Black Canadian history 365 days of the year. And this weekend is Father's Day. I'm looking forward to that. But it's also Juneteenth, which is a holiday in the United States. Just last year, they made it a holiday, President Joe Biden. And it's to celebrate the end of slavery. Now, I told you guys slavery meant that people wanted to escape. They took the Underground Railroad. They traveled to Canada and they followed the North Star. Remember the name of my album. People like Josiah Henson came, where you can learn more at Uncle Tom's Cabin. Now, after doing so many talks about Black history, people often say to me, Dio, what can we do to stand up to racism? What can we do to celebrate Black history and Indigenous history and other cultures throughout the year? And I want to tell you guys what I did, because I remember being in high school and wanting to do something. So I stood up to racism with a team of friends. It was a blessing. And we started a club, MAC, which stands for Multicultural Awareness Club. So I encourage you guys to start a club or to talk about it with your friends and to not just learn about Black history, learn about Indigenous history certain times of the year, but I encourage you guys to learn it throughout the year. Now, guys, I'm hoping you guys have a great summer. And one of the things that I hope you guys do this summer is have a great time and read books. I think it's so important to read books. You've got to have an outlet, which is something that I've talked about throughout the years. So you don't want to just be on your phone all the time or be watching YouTube or TikTok, but I encourage you to pick up a book and to read. It builds your vocabulary and it's a great outlet. And now, guys, one of my outlets, as you guys know, is rapping and freestyling. So today I want to wrap things up with a little freestyle rap. But to do a freestyle, I need your help. So in the chat, I want to hear what I should rap about today. So as you guys know, I could rap about cheese or dinosaurs or Justin Bieber or unicorns, but I'd love to hear what you guys want me to rap about. Oh, we're getting a lot of topics coming in. Fortnite, summer vacation, dragons. Oh, this is great. Okay, check it. One more time, if you know what it's like. I'm gonna have to break it down about Fortnite. Yeah, y'all know what's up. Got the V-Bucks. You can spend them up. Getting skins to win, cause when I break it down a little like that, creeping right by like it was a cat, not a dog, and yes, indeed, it is so amazing. Mama, I made it summer vacation. I don't want to be bragging. Sometimes I breathe fire. You might call me your dragon. And I perform in my own uniform. Sometimes I dance and rap about unicorns. And when I freestyle, they say, rewind that. Cause I put it together like I play Minecraft. I rock you, kicking it just like it was soccer. Beast boy, peace when I go ahead and make some noise. Now, somebody told me about fish. You know that is my favorite dish. Last night I had some rainbow trout. Sometimes I have salmon. Whenever I'm rapping, man, it's cool. If you like school, make no mistake. And when you're in the forest, watch out for some snakes. One thing I tell you, I gotta reveal ya. I love football. My favorite team is the Steelers. D.O. go with the flow. Super Nintendo. Used to play Super Mario. I was singing and I remember sometimes I played Legends of Zelda. Yes, indeed. Please give me some cheese. Then I go in deeper. I was giving shout outs to teachers when I give a slice of pizza, and other rappers are homeless because they notice that they are circular in the middle like a donut. Y'all know I say this with a flow, and then I build it together like it was Lego. Shout out to the summer, shout out to a keto. I gotcha. Then I take a pause and I take a sip of water. You can never test me, cause I've blessed me. Whenever I'm kicking it, I do it like Messi, and I do it nonstop and put it together like you play Roblox. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you guys for all those freestyle topics. You guys just went on and on. That was awesome. Okay, guys, just a few minutes before we wrap things up. I want to see if anybody has a question that they want to ask. Does anybody have anything that they wanted to ask me before? I mean, before the rhymes are starting, I got to give a shout out to Online Kindergarten. Let's see if we have any questions. How old am I? My favorite question. And now we're out of time. Just kidding. So I'm 43 years old, and I love saying how old I am. And I hope that when you're 43, that you'll love saying how old you are, because I love that I kept my dream. And even though my dreams changed, I love what I'm doing. I love the Blue Jays. So I'm always cheering for them. I think they have an afternoon game. I was even thinking of going to the game, so maybe I will. My favorite song, I've got so many favorite songs, but my favorite song is by Kanye West, and it's called Can't Tell Me Nothing. My birthday is in October, and did somebody train me how to rap? I actually had to learn all by myself, because back then there was no YouTube. I didn't know anybody who was a rapper, so I had to learn it. How do I come up with my lyrics? I just write. And sometimes I don't know what I'm going to rap about, but I just keep on writing. I love going for walks. I just went for a walk this morning and was thinking about even what I'm going to say today. I've written over 1,000 songs, and maybe I should write a song about my favorite hockey team, which is the Montreal Canadiens. My favorite movie. I got to go lately with Top Gun 2. I love seeing that in the theaters. It's been a while since I've been to the movie theaters. My favorite superhero, Superman. Got to keep it old school, but I love the new Batman, Spider-Man, and I really liked the Spider-Verse, Miles Morales. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap things up with these last 3 questions. So do I have a pet? I don't, but I used to have a dog. My favorite game? Monopoly. See how you didn't say video game? I played Fortnite for a while. I don't play that much anymore. And the last thing, my favorite thing to rap about is anything. I love getting things I've never rapped about. I love getting some of the same things because it's a challenge as well. Guys, I want to thank you so much for being here with me today. It's been an amazing and crazy last year. So like I said, congratulations goes out to you for making it through this year, for not just staying driven, but for being still driven. My name is D.O. I'll see you guys next year, or maybe in the summer, or maybe on Instagram. Take care. Have a great summer, everyone.